Edgware Road in West London, centre of the capital's Lebanese community. In an apartment not far from the busy Arab-speaking quarter, 3 generations of Lebanese-born women and a recently arrived 4th generation gather to share stories of why they left, how they've adjusted, and the links that still tie them to home. Rana Halaby Cooper fled the 1970s civil war as a child and came to London as an adult via the USA.
We all love Lebanon. You know, it's one of these countries that people rave about. Lebanese, when they go abroad, they're constantly saying how great Lebanon is and how wonderful it is. And, for example, when my parents come to visit the UK, they say, oh, we have beautiful things like this in Lebanon. You know, wherever they are abroad, they're always comparing things to Lebanon. And I think they're very proud. We're very proud people, and I think that's why even in the UK we have very strong roots in the Lebanese community, although we're very well integrated, you know, in many ways, and we have good relations with our communities and the international community as well, not just the very local community.
Rana Massoud also came to London from the USA, her family having fled the Civil War. She's now been here for 10 years.
London's a very cosmopolitan city, so I think it's a city that makes integration quite easy. We have friends from we have a lot of Lebanese friends. Our close friends, I would say, are mostly Lebanese, but we have a lot of friends from a lot of different places, Europeans, Canadians, Australians, so it's a nice mixture.
Sarah Kabani Abed is a new arrival. With her young daughter Rem, she came to London just 3 years ago, having spent all her life in Lebanon. She says there's only one thing in the UK that she can't get used to.
The transition was pretty okay. I mean, it was difficult at the beginning, of course, just like any other human being moving to a new country. But now it's okay. It's nice. I like it, except for the weather.
Mona Findlay never returned to Lebanon after fleeing the war 30 years ago. Her daughter Alice has been brought up in Britain and now aged 18 is beginning to ask questions about her cultural roots.
I feel so guilty not to introduce the traditions and the background and the roots to my daughter. I mean, she's 18 and she doesn't know anything about her country, and I feel so guilty. She even doesn't speak good Arabic, and I say, what a bad job I did. So I don't know if it's too late. I don't think it's too late, because she is very keen now to start studying Arabic, and she's so keen to, she listens all the time to Arabic music, and she's very interested in Arabic songs and things. So I feel her begging me to, to give her this Lebanese things which I know, which I grew myself.
The Lebanese in London have a reputation for hard work and hard-headed business sense. Many of them have become wealthy working for major multinationals or for themselves. George Assayeh is chief executive of the Arab-British Chamber of Commerce.
The Lebanese have traditionally been merchants and bankers over the years. And it is not surprising, for example, today to see that there's a large number of young Lebanese bankers in the city. I mean, if you look at all the large British, American, European banks, you will find that there are some, quite a lot of young Lebanese working there and contributing, obviously, to the success of these institutions. Some of them have done extremely well, have branched out and opened on their own and have their own companies here and in Europe. So the Lebanese, in general, wherever they go, are extremely hardworking and contribute to the economy of wherever they are.
And it's not just in business that Britain's Lebanese community excels. Baria Alamuddin is a renowned journalist and commentator on Middle East affairs.
There is a fight going on between the two worlds. In a sense,
the British are fighting the terrorists, the extremists, etc. Also, the world I belong to in the Arab and Muslim and Lebanese world is fighting the same terrorist. But somehow it doesn't seem like that to the world. It seems like me being a Brit is fighting my other side, which in many ways is not true. I think terrorism is a threat to every human being in the world. It is as much as a threat to a British, Lebanese, Arab, Muslim woman as it is to a purely Lebanese, Muslim, Arab woman. So inside of me, although this controversy might exist very, very rarely, but I see it in other people's lives. People are feeling extremely distressed and unease. Many people even not want to travel to Britain anymore simply because they feel they will be labeled Arab, Lebanese, Muslims or whatever.
Baria's two daughters are graduates of Britain's top universities and are now starting their own families with roots in Lebanon, the UK and their new homes abroad. Meanwhile, their mother continues meeting with and interviewing world leaders, trying to bring the best of both worlds, East and West, together in her work.
I always go back to Lebanon. I'm always traveling in the Middle East. Of course, my work takes me there. How can I be a commentator around the world on Middle Eastern affairs if I don't travel? And indeed, I don't mix with the people and talk to the leaders in those countries. So in many ways, I'm always taking back what I'm learning from the great tradition of the British people. I'm extremely proud and confident that what I've learned here will only benefit the people back in the Middle East. I admire the openness and the debate that I'm always witnessing in this country, and I always try, because also I have the chance of speaking on Arab and televisions and Lebanese national television, and I'm sure my ideas are always a mirror of what I'm living and what I'm witnessing in this great culture.
Going back to Lebanon, back home, is a dream for many Lebanese in London. They look forward to the day that hostilities will cease forever and they can return with their families, their expertise and their capital.
The situation in Lebanon has been, unstable for a very long time, and given recent events, last July's bombings and so forth, it's starting again. And it's interesting because I was there during the bombings, and I actually had to flee with my two children while the bombings were going on through Syria because the airport closed in Beirut. And my mother did the same thing with us when we were younger. We were 4 children, and now she's seeing her grandchildren going through the same thing. So it's devastating, to be honest.
My husband dreams of eventually moving back to Lebanon. He spent his whole life there, and he moved to London 9 years ago. So for him, it's his dream to eventually, either retire there or to go back when the situation gets better.
I go back to Beirut every month. I have never stopped doing that, even during the worst time of civil war. And this applies to a lot of Lebanese here. They live here, they work here, but a lot of them go back and either retire there or settle there or start something there.
We will be going back one day, at least, if not her, me. So I have that always in the back of my mind. I know that my husband's work is here and I know that I'm living here, but at the end, when she becomes an adult, I know that I'm going to be going back home. Retirement. Early retirement.
Definitely we're going next year. We arrange everything from now. Even if the situation is good or not good, we are going. That's it.
I'm starting to grow more attached to my roots. I know I used to learn Arabic at Arabic school, but I dropped it. Now I'm starting to pick it up because I want to. It's not because I'm forced to. It's because I feel like the urge to learn some more about where I've come from. And especially with the situation at the moment, I want to know more about where I was born and what's happening.
London's Lebanese community has managed to integrate into British society without losing touch with its roots.